I've got a lot of work related questions and I'm going to try to go through that very quickly. Can you please explain all the steps up to becoming a CA, please? So this will obviously be in relation to South Africa because that's where I studied. So basically, I think in South Africa, as I said, I studied in Potchefstroom. You obviously you apply to the university and then you study 3 years, which is your undergraduate, and then you need to qualify. I think you need to have a certain percentage to qualify for your honors, so not everyone qualifies for that. And then you do your honors, and that honors year is literal hell. It was a year literally from a Monday till a Sunday. I would sit at my desk from 8 till 9 roughly to work very, very hard every single day up until October that year, 2015. That was my year. So that's honors. Once you pass your honors that January, so that's now 4 years, then in your 5th year, but you start to do your articles. You need to do 3 years of articles. So it's 4 years studies, 3 years articles, which is basically like your practicals, where you basically then take whatever you studied and go and apply it in the practice, in the real world. And then in the beginning of your first year of your articles, you write your ITC, which is your initial test of competence. And then obviously you need to pass that, and I think you can only fail it 5 times. Then you need to, I think, go back and do your honors again. Okay, so then you pass this one, then you do your 2nd year of articles, and then at the end of your 2nd year of articles you write your APC. So you need to pass those 2 exams, one in your 1st year, one in your 2nd year, and then you just do your last year of articles or practicals, and then at the end of that 3rd year you qualify as a chartered accountant. I want to know, why did you become a CA and how did you know it was the right choice? So I'm just going to move you here because it's starting to get dark. Okay, so why I chose to study chartered accountancy. So for me personally, I absolutely loved working with numbers since the day I can remember, and my parents always like joke about it. Like, I wanted to have a till that you would buy like at Toys R Us, and I would just like, you know, play with the till. My sisters had to buy like stuff from me and I would give them like receipts and work with the money. I loved playing Monopoly. I would have like my own store always, like my clothes will be like the meat and I will package them and I will sell it to my sisters. Like, I was just all about business and numbers, and I told my parents like, I want to work at a till one day. Like, I want to like be the person working with the money, scan my own things. So I always just loved business and numbers and just having like my own business one day. It was always my dream. So then studying chartered accountancy is like, in my opinion, the best path you can choose to either own your own business one day or just know a lot about different businesses. So that's in short why I went to study that. It's just, it gives you a lot of experience on a lot of different industries, different companies, and it works like your business mind. Like, you need to think in a certain way, and yeah, I just knew it will help me to hopefully have something of my own one day. So that's the reason I studied chartered accountancy, which I'm very grateful that I have, and I would never change it for the world, even though it is a really, really tough course or degree to study. Okay, sorry, I just changed positions. My battery actually went flat and I had to charge it, and now it's night time already, but I'm back on the ground again and I'm gonna continue. A person asked here, you seem good at public speaking, any tips? And then also they want to know how I interact with seniors and staff at work. So just with the public speaking, oh, my looks rough. With the public speaking, like, it's so funny when a person says that, like, yeah, because if you know me, like, I absolutely hate speaking in public. I always feel like my heart just comes sit here in my throat, and I feel like I will just faint at any time if someone puts me either on the spot or if I know, okay, it's my turn to speak. Like, I really don't like that. But in saying that, I don't mind public speaking if I talk about a topic that I really know about. Like, I'm very like, either passionate or I'm just very aware of what's going on about that topic, like knowledgeable on that topic, then that really helps. So that will also be my tip, is if you do public speaking, make sure that the content is yours and you understand it, that you, if someone asks you a question, whether it's right or wrong, just make sure like someone can see like you did your research, you have your opinion. It just looks like you are more confident, and it just doesn't, I don't know, like that really helps me if I know that I will speak to a lot of people, or not even a lot of people, even if it's a few people. If I know what I'm talking about, it's always easier. So just make sure you understand what you're talking about, and then I'm sure like it comes much more easier. And then also how you interact with people, like this I really do understand maybe where this person is coming from. So like I said earlier in this video, that I am an introvert, so I really find it difficult, very, very difficult approaching people. And that's also why I do struggle sometimes with my job, like obviously this like stress, which I will talk about, I think it's the next question that I saw. But I really, I don't know, I just get like anxious, or just like a funny feeling if I need to speak to people. Like if I feel comfortable with you, and I think that's maybe like an introvert thing, like if I feel comfortable with you, and I don't know what it takes, it's just like I get this vibe and the sense, it's always easy for me to go to you and like I'm fine and whatever. I've got this one colleague at work, and he's a friend of mine now. Like from the beginning, it was just like, I don't know, just easy for me to go up to him and ask him questions and just be myself and be normal. And he thought I was an extrovert, and was just, it comes to show, just, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So with some people I find it very daunting, especially like if you need to approach like the CFO of a company, and it's not even just a staff member or colleague that you work with. But anyways, how do I approach a staff or a senior person? So a senior person, I always, yet again, when I approach that person, I always try to make it precise and get to the point on what I'm asking. And then I also try to make sure that I did my part on the question. Like I just don't go there and say like, what do I do here? I always go like, this is the problem I'm having. I did try number 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not working. I need your help, or can I get your input? You know, so I just try to look like I'm not just like sponging on them. Like I tried whatever I tried. This is what I tried. Can you help me? And then also just being aware that, you know, that's why they're senior and that's why they are above me. So then I literally just feel a different vibe. Like then I'm like, well, I'm not supposed to know everything, so I'm gonna approach my senior and get my answer. And with other staff members, yeah, I just, like I said, like I do push myself out of my comfort zone a lot, and that's what my career has helped me a lot with doing, is when I'm like, oh, I need to approach this person, I'll speak to the person. I don't think twice. I'm just like, get up, go to that person, ask them. But I'm just like always like, I'm very friendly with the person. I'm like always, hi, sorry to bother you, but can I please ask you a question? Like some people I hate it, but I'm just always over friendly, like not too much, like irritatable. Like in South Africa you need to be a lot like, oh, so sorry bothering you, like I don't want to waste your time, but did like, yeah, I had to like leave a lot of that stuff because they're very like straight, get to the point. Yeah, so literally I'm not changing myself, but I'll just be like, sorry to bother you, but this. So yeah, just always be friendly, get your facts straight, and then also just make sure you do your part before just like approaching people. How do you deal with stress at work? And this is a very important one for me. Like I said, I do stress a lot with regards to my work. I'm not very good at dealing with my stress, but over the years I've tried to make it manageable, and it is very difficult. But the one thing I would say is just being active. So here in Amsterdam I try to go work out like 5 to 6 times a week. It doesn't even have to be something big, but getting my moving, like it just helps me with releasing all of that overthinking that I have in my head. Because I'm an introvert, I just think a lot, I'm active in this head a lot, which just makes me like stress and have a lot of feelings. So I try being active, whether it's like jumping on the bike and cycling somewhere, even if you're at home, maybe like having a meditation, or just something that you can feel like, you know, I'm human, breathe, you know. And then with stress, I think always the main things I stress about is what other people think. Like maybe they don't think I'm capable, like I'm a CA, why don't she know this, and like she's been in audit for like almost 4 years, why don't she know that? Like that's a lot of my stress. Like people think I'm incompetent, but I've come to accept like I'm not gonna know everything, and sometimes I'm gonna look dumb, sometimes I'm gonna ask stupid questions, sometimes I'm gonna forget stuff that I used to know, and it's just accepting that, you know, like I'm not perfect, I'm not trying to be perfect, and at the end, like I'm just doing my job now. I'm just like, whatever is given to me, I understand it, I do it. If it's wrong, then someone is there to help you. That's why they're seniors. Like I'm just not trying to be hard on myself, if that makes sense. Like just letting go of all those things, like trying to be perfect, trying to impress people. Like no, I'm just going to be me. I'm gonna always work hard because that's in my nature. But if something is not on standard or not good enough for a certain person, then it's something I accept and I move on, but I'm not going to stress about it. And then another thing is just having balance. Like keep your balance. That's what I've been doing here in the Netherlands, and it's going good so far. In South Africa, it was always, work was like 80% of your life and it's priority, and it's like so stressed if you don't get something right. Where here it has made a major change. Like I'm just like, my life is 80 not really, but my life is like 60-70%, and work is the rest. Like even though I'm spending a lot of hours at work, it just doesn't occupy my life and my mind as much as it did in South Africa. And it's literally just the fact that a decision that I made, that I'm not gonna put that pressure on me to, you know, be the best in the company. Like I'm gonna do my job to the best of my ability that I can, but then I'm gonna enjoy my life, which is the most important part for me. And then there's a couple questions in this one. It says, in regards to studying, how did you motivate yourself if you weren't up to studying but needed to? So I must say with studying, I was very good at, put that on silent, I was very good at, like, not just even with studying, my personality is just like, I can like push myself very hard, like whether it's like exercising, whether it's like committing to something, whether it's studying. If I know I have to do it, or I've set up a task or a, you know, like goal for me, I will push myself. So it is in my personality. So literally what I would do is, I don't try to think twice about it. I would just like, I know I have to study, so I literally just go sit at my table and I start studying. It's always like dreadful when you know you need to go and sit and study now, and it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 hours. But the faster you just go and sit at your table, an hour in, you're like, oh, I'm done with this and this, and you just get into it. I'm sure it happens to other people, I really hope. So with me, it's just not thinking more than like 5 minutes about it. Just get up, just go sit. I know it's not fun, but just sit, just do it, because the faster you do it, the quicker you get into it, and the quicker you start to know your topics that you're studying, and you just feel good once you know stuff, or you can tick it off. Any tips, flashcards? Do you write things down and highlight when studying? How long would you study for? 1 to 2 hours, then take a break. So I'll just go further into detail about studying. So usually what I would have done is, in class I would try to just understand what the lecturer would talk about. So I would follow him very like actively, like understanding. I would ask questions if I wanted to, or after class I will go ask questions, but I would ask, like I will follow him like very like trying to understand and make notes like on slides that I printed up beforehand, or they give in class, or on like in a book or whatever. And then after class, and I also did this during my school years, so it came from that, then after class I would go through all of my work from that day. If I didn't have enough time, I will catch up over the weekend. But in conclusion, just to give a short answer, I would always after class go and sit down, go through that day's work, and I will summarize it. So I will literally make like, this is the topic I usually worked in, like it would go down like this. So the major topic, what will be under that topic, like one thing underneath that one, and then if there's another thing under the big topic, another point. If there's another thing under that one, like it went like steps, and I kept it short and very like precise. But I would do that for every day's work, and then once it got to like studying, I would only study from those notes, because that would be the core of everything. And then if I'm worried like, oh, maybe I missed something, I'll always have my slides or whatever. But also I wouldn't like study from the books, like I would have already used that to make that summaries. So that is what I would use. So I didn't use flashcards, I literally used like exam block paper, which I will summarize, and I work from that from school year up until my honors year. That is how I studied. I had files where I would have like, say it's accounting like goodwill, I will have my stuff for goodwill. If it's on property, so I will have my property like a pink thing, and then I'll have my stuff for property. And then once I study, I have my standards or my book or whatever on the side, and all those summaries, and I will study. And I'm very bad at that. I usually didn't have like study 1 to 2 hours and then take a break. I would literally wake up usually, and I'm talking a lot about honors now, but usually if it's like proper studying, I would sit and I will study up until I need a break. Sometimes I'll sit there for 4 hours, sometimes, you know, it depends. But if it's like exam time, like you blocked out for exam, I would work like that. I would work 2 hours, take half an hour break. 2 hours, half an hour break. I would literally write it down like 2 hours, the next like a half an hour break, 2 hours, half an hour break, 2 hours. And I would also divide like what I would study throughout those periods. And I was always more generous, so then I always ended up either finishing early the day or studying more than what I planned out. So overall, during the week when it's normal hours stuff, I would just work and sit, and I was like, I didn't just study, I did like a lot of activities. I was in my hostel race up until my honors year. So during the week it wasn't just studying, but over weekends and when it's like block time for exams, it was like I could just sit a whole day and study. It wasn't that difficult for me, but it came from my school years where I really already started studying hard, which helped. Okay, then there's a few questions from this girl, and I told her I would respond to all of them, so I'm going to make this quick. Is Big 4 experience important to get a sponsor? I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say it's important. It is no, definitely not, because the reason I say that is because I'm aware of other people that wasn't at a Big 4 that got sponsorship. So I wouldn't say it's important. It might be a little bit easier, but like I said, there's other people that hasn't been at a Big 4. I did my articles at a small firm, and my elective was taxation. I'm worried that once I'm qualified, I won't find a job in the Netherlands. How bad is the rain? Is the weather really bad for us South Africans? I'm just quickly going to put in here. So the rain is very black. It rains a lot. Probably if I can put it on a percentage scale, it would be like maybe a half. And a lot of South Africans do moan about the weather. Weather is like very like at the bottom of my list for stuff to worry about. Like, I'm just thankful to live in a free country like this, where I can basically just do anything outside and like just be safe and just have fun and whatever. So the weather for me, it's really not something I complain about. Like when it like rains for like 2 weeks like ongoing, I would like obviously complain, but it's not like that big of a deal for me. But for other people it is quite a big of a deal. Then do you ever use your South African taxation knowledge over there, or is it completely worthless? So I haven't used my South African tax knowledge at all, and I won't say it's completely worthless. Like the tax sections and South African tax in itself would be worthless, because you're not auditing or doing accounting for companies in South Africa. You're working in like the EU states, or companies like outside of the EU but not in South Africa. But if you have tax background, it helps you to understand how to do other countries' tax, because it's like similar calculations. It's just different, obviously, laws and sections and stuff, but it definitely helps you. But you don't use it a lot. Like I haven't used it at all, and I don't think I will. What is it like at work? I know you said you are going to go more into detail on a day in your life at work, and I'm so excited for that video. Okay, so what is it like at work? So my next video is going to be, I'm going to really try to make it more like informative for you guys to see like what my day-to-day life would be working. I'm going to try to show you guys what I did that day. So, but what is a work day for me? A work day for me is literally, I get up, I start work at 9, but I'm always there a little bit earlier. But I start work at 9, I work until 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's literally like, it is bad, like you literally just sit at your computer the entire day. You work on the system of my company, and currently a lot of my clients are at our offices, so I work from our offices, but then some of my clients, I go to the client and you'll sit there and you will work, and it's always like with a team, you know. It's a lot of young people. I don't work with a lot of older people. They're more like the senior people that you don't work with every day. But the environment, it's a little bit, not a little bit, it's a lot stressful, but it's very busy, so your week goes by very fast. It's hard work, but overall it's like, it's work. But you'll see in my video, so watch out for that one. Then, did you ever feel like you might not be competent enough, or you were going to fail at your job in the Netherlands? And if so, how did you know you were going to be okay? Like I said in my previous question, like I always have the stress of not being competent. Like I won't lie, like because you don't know everything, and accounting and chartered accountancy, and then especially audit where I work in, it's very, like everything just changes a lot, and there's a lot to remember, there's a lot to know. But I must say, with experience, like the more you work, like the years going on, you do get a lot of knowledge, and then the confidence grow. So obviously in certain areas I'm like, no, I know, but then obviously I'm still growing. So in other areas I'm like, oh, I'm not competent. But you know, you need to give yourself a break, like just go through the motions, go through not knowing everything, go through being the one that, you know, asks the stupid questions. That's not actually stupid, but the ones you feel are stupid. But ask questions, learn as much as you can in the areas that you feel like you might not be as competent. Like, but how I approach this is just trying to self-check myself and just try to be like Christelle. Who cares if you don't do competent to other people, as long as, like, obviously, like the people that you work with closely would know you're competent. Like I didn't pass my chartered accountancy on, you know, I need to have something in my brain. I didn't pass my articles and my 2 board exams just because. It's because you have something within you. So sometimes it's just giving yourself like the pat on the back and be like, you've done this before. You know, you're here for a reason. So when I came here, I was a little bit scared, like not knowing, because obviously I don't know a lot of like the Dutch stuff, like the Dutch laws and regulations. I still don't know a lot of them. But you know, I learn as I go, and I ask questions, and like I said, just accept to ask those like stupid questions, or the questions that other people be like, you're supposed to know that. Then I'm just like, no, you know, like just try not to be that hard on yourself, and you're human. Like, not, that's like the one thing this year that I really like try to remind myself of, is just to be like, you are human, and don't worry about what even your senior thinks about you. You are getting paid, you are doing your job. As long as you try your best and work hard and try to obviously improve and all of that stuff, and you're getting paid, like don't put that extra pressure on you. Don't do that. I used to do that, and I'm not doing that anymore. If you are an accounting student and you wish to work overseas like yourself, what do I need to do? So I would say, if you're an accounting student, obviously just get your work experience within, like, I would say like either like an international firm, or just normal accounting experience wherever, but at least I would say like 2 to 3 years. And then you apply to Robert Walters, that's a recruiting agency for like accounting or like financing people, and there's other recruiters as well. But I would just say, like, try to work at an international company, because then you can do internal transfer like I did with my company. They were looking for people and it's with the same company, it's always easier and like more opportunities. But then yeah, getting your experience and then having a good CV, and then literally just approaching recruiters, and they are looking for people. As a chartered accountant, you might surely face stress in work. How do you overcome it? And are there people in every workplace who often cause trouble? How do you deal with them? Have you ever bursted out of anger? Please answer my... Okay, so the stress one I already answered, but with working with troubled people in your work environment, so I must say, from the client perspective and from colleagues, I've definitely had my fair share of working with difficult people, especially at a client. And I understand, like, you are basically using some of their time that they want to use to get their job done. So like a normal accounting person, like, you go there and ask them a lot of questions and whatever. That's not like my company, like the client we are servicing or auditing. Like, you are interrupting like their normal work hours that they want to get their stuff ready for their, like, the CFO. So I understand that for some, like in my second year of articles, or my first year, no, it was, I can't remember, but there was this one guy at one of my clients that was so rude. He was so rude, and he like swore, and he was just like very unprofessional. And I literally was just standing there. I was like, okay, no, don't worry, whatever. I was just composing myself. Obviously, I need to be professional. I will always be professional. But I went to the bathroom and I actually cried. I was like, why can one person be so mean and just so like I'm just doing my job, and I'm always friendly approaching a person, always like considerative, or just considering that I'm using their time up, so I'll try to make an appointment with them, or, you know, schedule time in their diary, or like ask them, is this a convenient time to ask questions, you know, like I always like try to put their situation first before just getting my stuff like ticked off, because, you know, I'm servicing the client. But yeah, so I would just say, like, you always need to be professional. Like, even if you just need to bite on your tongue, do that. And then also, like, working with colleagues, sometimes you work with colleagues that doesn't bring their side on the team, that just doesn't work at all, that's like either rude to other team members. And sometimes, depending in the position you are, you can pull that person aside and speak to them. Like in my third year of articles, you are like the main member on the team, so I had to have a few, like not a few, but a discussion like with the person. Then you'll pull them aside and just say like this and this, whether it's on their performance, on their, like, how they treat other people, or their attitude towards like work. So it's just going about it like professionally, and also trying to understand their situation, and not just quickly going there in with it with judgment. And then also just separating what other people like say and do from yourself. Like, say they are rude, like that person at work, I would just be like, this must be something going on in their life, or he's just like irritable today, or, you know, maybe he's just not feeling good. So I'm just like separating that. I used to struggle with that, but the past, like, I would say 2 years, I really tried to like literally just head on, do my thing, get my job, especially at work, just get my job done, make sure I get my stuff on a good professional way, and it's done, dusted. So yeah, I hope that answered that question. I've never bursted out in anger. I would never do that. Like, I can't. I'll lose my job. In the first year of articles, my work hour is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and my body pains due to long working day, and it's unhealthy to sit in one place. So I'm sorry to say that, like, it's very, like, I understand completely working at on a computer from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. it's not nice, it's not fun, it makes your brain like exhausted, and you just feel like you can do so much better with your life. Okay, so I see this person is also studying, so that makes a difference, and I don't have any experience with that, except for my second year of articles. We had to study, obviously, because we wrote our APC, which is our second board exam, at the end of our second year. And with that, I just studied over weekends. It's not like the same as with him, like it was a different type of studying. So I don't know, it's difficult if you study and you work. Like I give it to you, because that's really hard work. And he's asking like whether you will be able to gym and do that stuff. Like when I studied, like just studied, yes, I went for workouts. I wasn't that like consistent with it, but I would go do stuff. I was like social as well. But if you work and you study, like definitely go to the gym. You need something to take your mind off of all of that, like computer and studying and all of that stuff. I would just say like to, and I always tell this to my younger sister when she's also like a bit like crammed with a lot of stuff, just to manage your time. Time management is everything. Like, and having a plan, like literally I think like Sunday evening, sit with yourself and be like, this is the hours I'm going to work, this is the hours I'm going to study, this is what I will be studying in this hours, okay, this is what I will have left, or okay, I will have this time. Sometimes it's easier said than done because you just don't have enough time to get through everything, but this is where you need to prioritize and be like, well, I'm not going to get to everything, so I'm just going to do this. But keep being active, exercising. Like, that's one thing I learned on the hard way this year, and that's one thing I'm currently doing, and I've been doing it for a month now, where I go to the gym and work out, even having a full-time job. So if you study and you work, like, do make time for that. It doesn't have to be like 5 times a week, but at least like 3 times a week. Eat good food, look after yourself. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's a tough time. Just push through and just know it's not going to be like that forever. Yeah, I think this is all of the questions. If I missed your question or didn't answer it, I'm really sorry about that. I try to answer everything. Please follow me on Instagram, because in the future, obviously maybe in a few months time, I will do another Q&A, and if you follow me on there, then it's just easy. You can see I'm filming my Q&A and you can ask your question. It's always confidential. Maybe in the future, if you don't want it to be, then I can put your name up here or whatever, but for now it will be confidential. I don't want people, like, if they want to ask personal things, I will respond to it, but I won't put your name next to it. So yes, I am going to end this video here. I really hope that you have find this like interesting, or yeah, I really hope all of my answers helped somehow. And that is then going to be it. So my next video is going to be a proper work day in my life. I'm really going to try to put in effort. I'm going to plan it out beforehand in a way that I can show you, like, give you the best experience of my day. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to check which day this coming week. But that's that. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Thank you so much for all the questions. I really appreciate everyone asking all of it. I loved answering it. I'm always there to help anyone. Like, I absolutely love helping people. It's just awesome if I can help anyone. Like, if there's further questions on like studying and stuff, sometimes I just feel like I just want to call that person and just speak to them and just make sure they're okay, especially with studying and those stuff. Like, you need to have a lot of determination up here to get through some of those studying. But yes, I hope you have a lovely week going forward, and then I will see you next week with a new video. Bye bye.